The funniest thing Philadelphia could do right now might actually be happening already behind the scenes. Despite what Nick Sirianni is saying externally, Kevin Patullo might not be safe. Plus, while the timing could not be more perfect for bringing back a familiar face, the latest on Justin Herbert's hand post-surgery, why the Birds' defense does not deserve the pass they've been getting. Thomas Mott, this is the Thomas Mott Show. Philadelphia is now full speed ahead as they hurtle towards their Monday night matchup just a couple of days from now in LA. Not only did we get the latest surgery updates on Justin Herbert's hand this morning, we also got a very big hint out of Chargerland, the possibility of one of their biggest weapons not playing. Plus, Nick Sirianni, once again, addresses the Kevin Patullo situation as only he can do, while at the same time, history might be repeating itself in Philadelphia in more ways than one. First, though, super pumped to once again have a fresh giveaway with the guys at birdsapparel.com for one of these bad boys. Literally my favorite hoodie ever created. It is the Birds Nike hoodie, if you can see it right there. Man, the thing looks absolutely fantastic. Super comfortable, fits true to size, and I'm telling you, if you need an Eagles hoodie, this Birds one is the one to pick. And to enter, super simple, be subscribed, drop a like, and comment "Go Birds" down below. I'll announce the winner on Saturday morning show. Oh, and they also told me this week for my subscribers only, if you use code REALMOTT at checkout, I'll link it down below, you'll get a free pom-pom hat, this bad boy right here, perfect for the winner whenever you spend over $100. Just be sure to use my code, that's how you get the hat, plus it actually helps me out as well. Now, let me actually slide this to the top of today's video because right before I was going to hit upload, the Pittsburgh Steelers officially released cornerback Darius Slay. And naturally, Eagle Nation is going nuts. Big Play Slay signed a one-year deal to be the starter in Pittsburgh this past offseason, where he was coming off a career best in literally every single coverage stat during his Eagles Super Bowl run. A lot of us, including myself, were wondering why get rid of him, and yet they also got rid of Isaiah Rodgers, and so it was like, I guess they don't want either. However, Darius Slay in Pittsburgh, really the rest of the entire Steeler defense, has been completely cooked this year where everybody looks washed, which eventually led Slay to be a healthy scratch this past Sunday and obviously now released. And let's just not even beat around the bush, this makes a ton of sense. Whether you think Darius Slay is washed or not, bringing him back to Philadelphia for pennies on the dollar at this point in the season where they probably desperately need him, it makes way too much sense. Howie, you gotta make a call. What's important to note though, before you get too excited, Darius Slay must clear waivers first before he's able to sign elsewhere. Once he does though, and it's likely he will, Philadelphia has nothing to lose. At worst, he's completely washed and they simply just keep playing Adoree Jackson. That's fine. At best, though, he slides instantly back into the starting cornerback role opposite of Quinyon Mitchell, and then fully allows Q and, more importantly, Cooper DeJean to play their normal slot and outside cornerback roles. Plus, the veteran leadership, it could do wonders, I'm just saying. The funniest thing ever would be for Philadelphia to let Darius Slay walk. We don't want to pay $10 million. He then is washed for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They were right to let him go. He gets cut, and then they bring him back for pennies on the dollar, and he actually plays well and helps save our season down the stretch. Is it a guarantee he's not washed? I don't know. He's over the age of 33, but he clearly loves Philadelphia. His wife loves Philadelphia. It makes a ton of sense. Am I being crazy here? Let me know down below in the comment section if you're interested in bringing back Big Play Slay. Now, first things first, the latest once again on the Justin Herbert hand injury. We do a fresh update today. The Chargers quarterback underwent surgery on Monday afternoon. The team said it was A, successful, and B, marked him as currently day-to-day, with his status for Monday night to be determined, according to the organization, later in the week. Further digging, though, revealed that we don't actually know which finger or what kind of metacarpal fracture he's dealing with, but the likelihood is they placed either a pin, a plate, or a screw somewhere in his left hand to go ahead and stabilize it. And that stability seems to be the main issue here, at least according to former NFL doc David Chow. That's the question mark heading into Monday night.
With the great splint and the job that they did with the buddy taping yesterday, he's more secure for Monday night than he was this Sunday.
Okay.
Because of plates and screws.
That's right. Yeah.
You won't feel the micro motion. So this is why I'm optimistic that he can. The only pessimism for he can is if it's comminuted and it feels unstable and it would displace where you would need more surgery again. Whereas yesterday, if it displaces more, who cares? You can fix it with surgery,
Okay.
right? You don't want to expose Justin Herbert to a second surgery.
Right.
You can avoid it. But why was he allowed to play without surgery? Because, and probably he had a block
They had
too.
managed. Yeah.
Numbed it a little bit as well. The reason why they could risk it is you're going to do surgery anyway. So if it moves a little more, you can fix it at surgery. But after surgery, you don't want it to move.
No movement. Yeah.
So that's the yin and yang of it. So in summarize, I don't mean that to be so long-winded, but that's the type of insider knowledge stuff that we do. I think Justin Herbert is very likely to play next week.
I, of course, like many, think Justin Herbert is going to play. It's his left hand, not his right. However, there was a little hint at a press conference yesterday in LA that they are prepping Trey Lance for certain situations. As their head coach, Jim Harbaugh, told the media on Monday, Lance will get all of the first-team goal line reps this week, which likely means also all of the under center reps as well. So as I mentioned yesterday, Herbert did not go under center at all in that game versus the Raiders once the injury happened to his hand. And going under center usually means run, at least for the run-heavy Charger ground game, which did activate rookie sensation Marion Hampton to his 21-day practice window following a long stint on IR with an ankle injury earlier this year. Hampton last played all the way back on October 5th in that loss to the Commanders and would instantly boost the backfield if he's able to play. However, good news for Philadelphia, LA just signed another running back in Royce Freeman to their practice squad this morning, which have some Charger beat writers wondering if Hampton's ankle injury suffered a setback. Again, like Herbert, we're not going to know on Marion Hampton until probably later on in the week, but the fact they signed a running back, I think it's probably a bad sign for Hampton. He might wait one more week to get ready. Either way, the Charger injuries, as I said on Monday, TBD. Also, I want to give a massive shout out to the sponsor of this video, Cook Unity. Now, of course, as most of you guys know, my wife and I just had our first baby about a month ago now, which is wild, by the way. It's been awesome, but time for ourselves and really time to cook is kind of at a minimum. And Cook Unity has honestly saved us because they've given us chef-crafted, restaurant-quality meals made by award-winning chefs from around the country, delivered fresh right to your door. There's no grocery shopping, no meal prep. I love this part, no dishes. You just put them in the oven or the microwave, heat them up real quick, and in minutes you have an incredible meal. And the variety really sold me because they have hundreds, and I mean literally hundreds of dishes to choose from, tons of cuisines, and options for just about any diet. Let me pause for a second and talk directly to you on camera and be honest here. This is the best meal prep service, meal delivery service I have ever tried. We've tried basically every single one of them. Every time you try one, it gets delivered to the door. It's fresh, it looks good, but the quality, I don't know, it's just not been something that we want to continue. Cook Unity though, no joke, I was blown away. My wife and I are like, holy cow, these are incredible. Right to the door, you just heat them up, and again, they've been the best meal prep, meal delivery service we've tried. And right now, Cook Unity is hooking up you guys, my subscribers, with a special offer. Use my link down below in the description box or scan the QR code over here. Subscribe to your meals. Just try them out. Do 1 week. We started with 1 week. It's incredible. You're going to love it. And staying with that theme of to be determined, how about the Eagles' plans for Kevin Patullo? Nick Sirianni, on Monday during his press conference, attempted once again to shut down any calls for a coordinator change, although seemingly they were not enough for most Bird fans this morning.
So just to clarify, Nick, Kevin still is the play caller?
Yeah.
Not that convincing, but if you're wondering Nick's rationale for keeping Kevin Patullo, well, it was basically the same old spiel that it's a team effort. It's a collective effort that's not getting the job done and not just one person.
It isn't just one person. We have to, it's the ultimate team game. And so, like I said, we're working through everything. You know, I have a lot of faith in all the players. I have a lot of faith in all the coaches. We gotta execute it better, and we gotta scheme it better. And they all can be true, and we gotta call it better. It's every area that we need to improve on. That's why we always say we look internally through all these things. And like I said to you guys, like if all that's not gelling, that to me, that's on me first. And it's my job to do whatever I need to do to help get it fixed, and that's what we're working on right now.
And yeah, despite the big talk defending Kevin Patullo, how about big-time Eagles reporter Zach Berman? He's not exactly convinced. Noting back in 2023, during the Desai debacle, Nick Sirianni, very similar fashion, took to the podium early in the game week and said, quote, "I feel good with the people that we have in this building. We're 10-3. We're in control of our own destiny, and we're going to keep rolling and finding answers with the people that we have." Which, like yesterday, sounds good until 5 days later. Historically, in 2023, Fox's Jay Glazer dropped the hint that they quietly swapped out the side for Matt Patricia, and the rest was history. So once again, just because they're saying externally, we love Kevin Patullo, it's not his fault, it's all of our faults, does not necessarily mean history is on Nick Sirianni's side. What is true are the unavoidable cold hard stats that continue to work against Kevin Patullo week after week after week. Philadelphia has the highest hitch route rate, the lowest crosser route rate, bottom 5 in pre-snap motion, bottom 2 in play-action fakes, and they keep wide receiver A.J. Brown away from the slot more than any other wide receiver in the NFL. However, there was one play-calling argument or schematic argument that Nick Sirianni, during his presser, was eager to push back on, and that was a report from Jeff McClain over the weekend that Jalen Hurts does not want to run the football as much this season following his 2024 hit against the Washington Commanders.
We're always thinking about how to protect Jalen and make sure that he is healthy for the long haul. Different plans have different reasons and of why you run different things. And like I said, we'll do everything we need to do to help this offense get rolling. Jalen's talented and, running the football. He's talented and also holding the backside, when he doesn't run the football. So a lot of different ways to do that. Always looking at everything and how we can improve.
I think most of our problems, however, are that the majority of these runs, like in the first Cowboy game, were actually scrambles instead of designed quarterback runs. We want you to design Jalen Hurts running the football. But of course, Nick Sirianni denied all of this and said they are trying to run the football and protect Jalen Hurts. And so, as with classic Nick Sirianni press conferences, you kind of go, all right, we'll see. The other thing fans want to see going forward, the possible return of offensive coordinator Frank Reich, who most Bird fans have been tweeting about the past couple of days, and yet they forget he just finished up his season as the Stanford interim head coach, who led the Cardinals to a 4-8 record. And the connection here obviously makes sense. Nick Sirianni himself once mentioned Frank Reich as one of his favorite mentors in the National Football League, and unlike Doug Peterson or an outsider like Brian Daboll, Frank Reich knows the organization well and obviously had a clean break because he was hired away by the Colts to be their head coach. Plus, many are arguing that Frank Reich as a consultant right now, not just a future OC, really can't hurt because everyone remembers the makeshift offense he helped create really on the fly in 2027 that jump-started the Nick Foles Super Bowl run. This was not the same offense they were running with Carson Wentz. Doug Peterson, Frank Reich, they changed things up, and the rest was history. Still, much like Brian Daboll yesterday, the odds of them bringing in an offensive consultant seem to be pretty low. I know all the claims about Vic Fangio helping the offense scheme against Patrick Mahomes in the defense and vice versa in 2022. It's out there, but I still think it's a low percent chance, but it would be pretty darn funny to go full circle and bring back Frank Reich to be the offensive coordinator once KP was let go. What's not funny, though, circling back to Friday night, was the play of Philadelphia's defense, as that Ben Johnson-led offense absolutely carved up Vic Fangio's unit in a way we haven't really seen much this year. Like, I get it. All the talk this week has been on the Eagle offense and Kevin Patullo, and rightfully so. I've been doing the same thing. But I don't think we quite understand just how bad the Birds looked versus Caleb Williams and company until you watch a breakdown like Brian Baldinger dropped on his Twitter account earlier this morning.
This play has been bugging me since last Friday. It's first down at the 4. All right? Kyle Monangai, a rookie 7th-round pick in the backfield. It's a 10-9 game. Whatever reason, the Eagles, they shift here. All right, fine. All right, we got the linebackers 10 toes on the goal line. Good. Mitchell, 10 toes on the goal line. All right, defending the goal line. This is the worst. I've never seen a goal line defense where your defensive tackle goes upfield like this. And then you get this, like nobody wins. All they're doing is catching blocks. Nobody's penetrating. Like they're just catching blocks here. Nobody wins. So now, because Carter goes out there, you got N'Kobe getting washed up. And Monangai scores. And he's like, when we played Ryder College at Rutgers, it was more difficult to score than that.
Philadelphia's run defense didn't just give up 281 yards on the ground, they failed to adjust at all the entire game, which we don't really want to admit it, but as Anthony DeBona did earlier this week, this has been a problem for Philadelphia a lot so far this season. Going back as early as Week 7 versus the Vikings, where Jordan Mason, he had statistically just 15 carries for 57 yards, yet 5 of those carries were for 34 yards on the first drive of the second half. And then for some reason, the Vikings decided to not run Jordan Mason at all, albeit but 2 carries the rest of the way. And then later on, that was just a one-game instance, Denver had a $130 on the ground in their win. The Giants, part 1, 172, that was nuts. And even the Packers, most recently, behind a terrible Jordan Love passing game, had 104 yards on the ground versus the Eagle defense. And while it's not just one player or one scheme or one play call, I do think there is one player on the Eagle defensive line who's not getting enough criticism right now for not being bad, but not being elite, at least where he should be, and that is Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter's not been terrible this season. Don't get me wrong. I think he's been fine. But just 2 sacks and 34 pressures are about 11th best in terms of interior defensive linemen in the National Football League. And 11th, it's not bad, but he's supposed to be, the next Aaron Donald? That's what we all claimed that he would be. These numbers need to go up, and he cannot have another game like he did versus the Bears last Friday. We have to remember, Jalen Carter is not just a pass rush force. His presence must be felt in the run game going forward, especially versus a run-heavy Charger game this coming Monday night. Now, one thing I do hope the Eagle players, and really the coaches as well, are right about this week, at least externally, are how different they think the 2025 team is to the 2023 Epic Collapse Birds. Because at least verbally, again, externally, everybody keeps claiming this year is totally different.
I'll tell you right now, this is nowhere near close to 2023. So let's put that in the let's nip that in the bud right there. This is at least as a player in the locker room, if I was part of the 2023 team and part of this team, it's nowhere near. Nowhere near.
How so?
I'm telling you now, the way we go about the practice, the detail, although we're not winning games, well, I shouldn't even say that. We've won 8 games.
Yeah.
I shouldn't even say that. And I think just the way we attack every day with the attention to detail, some would say, I would probably say the detail right now is our in-game execution, right? That is lacking. We can go back to practice, and that would probably be a big emphasis of putting ourselves in these situations where they keep hurting us in games, and that's all you can do. And I feel like that wasn't there in 23. It's there this year. The coaching technique, it's there this year. It wasn't there in 23. So I just think I want to dead it. If you didn't know where that came from, dead it. I'm going to dead it. Right then and there. This is not maybe as a fan, but I can tell you now as a player, this is completely different to 2023. That's like, I don't even want to go there.
Yeah, I think that all the lessons, I think you saw a lot of that. The lessons we learned in 23 resulted in kind of what happened last year. So, of course, you always take lessons in everything. Win, lose, or draw, you're always constantly trying to learn and get better.
Philadelphia lost 5 of their last 6 in 2023, and right now they're on a 2-game losing streak. Winning versus the Cardinals, it could be similar to that scrappy, barely kind of squeak-by win versus the Giants, their lone win of the 6. It was final 6 in 2023, but let's hope that's not the case. Let's hope they turn things around on Monday night, get a win, and that springboards them to more wins, and it's not a collapse like 2023 was, because again, Jordan Mailata and Nick Sirianni, they said that's not the case. Of course, time will tell. We'll see. They got to win the first one Monday night, then beat the lowly Raiders, then beat the Commanders, Bills. It can't be that hard, and yet it has been the past couple of weeks. So again, we will see. Plenty more stuff happening the next couple of days and weeks. Get in on your Birds hoodie. Pick up one of these. I'm telling you, this thing, it's incredibly comfortable. It's the best part of this thing is that it fits well, looks great, and actually is comfortable because the weather is freezing where I live and probably you as well. I'll link all the discount codes to spend $100. Get the hat as well down below and check them out because they are a fantastic partner. I'm Thomas Mott. This has been Thomas Mott Show.